Hello, citizens of YouTube land.
Hey.
It's your president and your VP back once again with a very special episode. We were going to do this on Christmas, but we thought you guys might be too busy to really sit down and watch a YouTube video, so
I was also too busy playing Spider-Man as well.
that's why we're dropping it today. Got rocking the Oh Fudge It's Christmas shirt from A Christmas Story, kind of still in the Christmas mood. You can never have too much of that until you get a little later in the year, but that's beside the point. And hey, as always, if you want to become a citizen of YouTube land, all you have to do is hit that subscription button below. So, with that being said, today's episode is
Diehard.
Yes, the great Christmas movie that technically didn't come out at Christmas time. It premiered July 25th, 1988. It was directed by
John McTiernan.
It stars Bruce Willis, Reginald Bell Johnson, Alan Rickman, and
Clarence Gilliard.
Who, fun fact, if you guys know your Clarence Gilliard trivia, you kind of know that he was Trebet on Walker, Texas Ranger, which is pretty much perfect because we're going to be doing Chuck Norris month basically next month.
Yeah, and he was also Bruce from the first Left Behind movie.
And since we're covering a whole bunch of Walker next month, leading into the very special episode that we're going to be doing, the live review of the brand new reboot.
Please join us on January 25th, on January 21st. We cannot stress this enough. We've been promoting it. We've been promoting it ever since we announced it. What was it, like 2 videos ago?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
It was about that.
Yeah. So please join us.
But if you can't, we understand.
Yeah.
You know, guys, people get busy and you might watch the video at a later date, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
As long as you like it and you support us. We're incredibly grateful to the small audience that we have.
Yeah.
Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. So
yeah.
Incredible thanks to all you guys out there.
Yeah.
And to all you guys who may view this at a later date and decide to become a citizen of YouTube land, we say thank you very much in advance.
Yeah. Anyways, along with the other facts about that, we're sorry. We need to promote our biggest video that's going to be coming out soon. Because again, January 21st, can't stress it enough. Join us. We're going to be taking a look at the very first episode of Walker. And Dad, after this video, do you want to do the video for the trailer?
We might. So guys, as usual, we go into the facts of the movie, and it was made for roughly around $30 million, and it grossed
roughly around $140 million.
So this movie made bank, people.
Yeah. Later Die Hard movies,
not so much.
Because there's one that's
Bruce
a
Willis was paid $5 million for this movie. And it caused a little bit of a controversy from the research that I gathered that he was paid that much money because he was a relative unknown at the time and was more of a TV star.
Yeah, he was more of a TV comedy star, really. He wasn't the big hulking action hero we know him as today because this was the movie that gave him that status.
Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think at least one other person was offered this. You know, the big action stars of the 80s at the time were offered this movie, but they all turned it down, so it went to Bruce Willis instead.
Yeah, and, now we know him as, the Die Hard guy, the Sixth Sense guy, the Fifth Element guy. I think that's another movie by him.
That.
Yeah, so we know him
Bruce
as those,
is awesome.
But
I love Bruce Willis. I love Bruce Willis movies. He always tends to give the best performance in any movie that he's in. We might cover another movie that he was in at a later date that I really like too.
Death Wish?
Death Wish was pretty good. I was talking actually about Alpha Dog, though.
Oh.
A true crime thriller.
Okay.
But let's get into the plot of this movie. So Bruce Willis plays John McClane, and he is a cop and he
A New York City cop.
He's estranged from his wife, who happens to work in Los Angeles. So he goes there on Christmas Eve to be with her, basically. And so in the process, he comes to find her boss, who is, let's just say it flat out, he's a cokehead.
No, Mr. Talamaki is her boss.
No, the other guy.
No, that's the guy.
The guy that gave her the watch.
That's the dude that's trying to hook up with her, Dad. That's
but he's kind of her boss.
Yeah, kind of, but not quite.
He's one of the main characters, though.
He's one. Yeah.
So he goes to meet her, and he immediately encounters the guy who I just said was a cokehead, and he takes he takes a disliking to this guy.
No, what happens is how he meets him. He's Nostalgia Critic made this joke, so I'm kind of borrowing it. He's like he meets him when he's snorting cocaine. I'm gonna put it bluntly. He is, because this is a rated R movie. Spoiler alert! It is. So parents, if you don't find this deemable for your children to watch, that's fine, because it is a rated R movie.
Always, we put this in the past, and we'll say it to you guys here now. Screen the movies first of your parents before you let your children watch it, and you, the parent, decide who should watch these things. I certainly wouldn't have let him watch it at a very young age, but now that he's grown up a little bit, we watched it together. He watched it for the first time last year. Yeah. And I watched it for, I don't know, probably the 10th time last year.
I watched it again a couple of days ago, and that's why we're reviewing Diehard. You can find it on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's where you can find it.
So, anyways, after this, he says to John McClane, "Oh, sorry, I was doing nothing in here." And then Nostalgia Critic made the joke where he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was doing some 80s in here."
Yeah, it was that time period, and sometimes people are going to rag on those things. But he really does love his soon-to-be ex-wife. They're on the verge of a divorce, and the marriage has crumbled, basically because, in my opinion, he's a bit married to his job.
He's considered a workaholic. And the whole reason he goes to Los Angeles is to basically fix his marriage, but and then when he tries to do it, we meet the main bad guys, which should be played with the Empire Strikes Back theme song, which would have been funny if that was the case, because they're considered German bank-robbing terrorists that are mostly bank robbers instead of terrorists, and their leader is possibly one of the greatest action movie villains of all time.
Yes,
Hans Gruber,
played by the great Alan Rickman. And words cannot describe the sheer joy that I have whenever I watch this guy on screen. Because Alan Rickman just gives it his all as Hans Gruber here. And
I think he was actually having a lot of fun.
This is the perfect segue, really, for this movie here. Because many plots of Walker, Texas Ranger revolve around bank robbing terrorists.
No, it's bank-robbing drug dealers, Dad. Get it right.
But
there are some episodes where there are bank-robbing terrorists.
Yeah,
but they're mostly bank-robbing drug dealers.
That's true too, but it does kind of tie into this. This would be a plot on that show.
Yeah.
So.
Except Trevette is a bad guy.
So the guy. So McClane is there to. As we said,
by the way,
to repair his marriage. And he checks into the motel, and he meets the Japanese guy. What was his name again?
Mr. Talamaki, I think was his name.
Mr. Tomiyaki. I think that's
it's Tomiyaki, I think.
Or something like that.
We're so sorry if we butcher that name, because we don't
well versed in those things.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we're well versed into English last name type last names. We're not that well versed into other
He meets him, and he has a brief conversation, and he checks into the motel, and then
he takes off his shoes and his socks, by the way, which
yeah,
is just a later plot line.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. In the movie, his feet get messed up, guys. You know, this is a relatable character here in the first place.
Yeah, so, first he's trying to go to Los Angeles to fix his marriage because that already makes it relatable.
Yeah,
it makes him very relatable. A lot of people
could feel.
He's
feel
then forced into the role that he's in because, first and foremost, at the beginning of the movie, he didn't even want to do the stuff that he does in the movie. He's forced to do those.
Yeah, he had checked into the motel, and then the bank robbing terrorists come in, and they make it seem like they're more terrorists, but McClane quickly figures out what they really are, that they're bank robbers more than anything.
And then what he...
And Clarence Gilliard, who, as we said, plays Trevette in the later series, he is their computer hacker in the movie.
Yeah, and then... you know, it's like I said, and then when he meets Hans Gruber over the walkie-talkie, he says possibly the best line that this movie could have ever generated, and it's really quoted as well. Dad, you want to say it since
since you don't normally say it. You guys will pretty much already know this line if you've seen the movie, but we'll get to that in a moment. I want to discuss more about the fact that, you know, the terrorists, the bank robbing terrorists have taken over the building, and he realizes that he's the only one left who has any shot of trying to defend everybody else. So he, one by one, picks off these assholes, and they all deserve it. Yeah. They all deserve it. And Hans Gruber, of course, is over the top, and he calls him cowboy at one point, and that's where McClane responds back over the walkie-talkie with the classic line that we all know, well, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. So there it is, out in the open for you guys. There's the line.
Yep.
And now we can move past that.
Yeah. And so, like, he says that, and, you know, at first, McClane does try to let the Los Angeles police do their job.
But the terrorists, the bank robbing terrorists are actually smart, and they want the FBI involved because it'll actually make it easier for them to escape with the FBI involved.
Yeah.
It's all part of their plan and their plot. Where the LAPD, he meets this one guy.
Okay. This one guy, his name is Al Powell, I think. I think that was his name.
Al.
Yeah, Al, or Sergeant Powell, as some people
Al
know
Powell.
him as. So, this guy is played by the
he
legendary...
He investigates the thing at first.
Yeah, this guy is played by the legendary Reginald VelJohnson.
Who always plays cops. Who, of course, we all know as Carl Winslow as well.
And it also happens, because this is a theory that that many fans of Family Matters and Diehard who've watched the movie have created. Some fans actually think that the kid that got shot by Sergeant Powell, my dad actually supports this, I do too, was Steve Urkel.
Yeah, I mean, let's face facts, guys. If you've seen that show, he's pretty annoying. He probably would have deserved it with all the property damage. Maybe, of course, who knows? He might have killed Urkel and then moved to L.A. But we'll get off that little tangent because he does mention that he's kind of going to be on like desk duty, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That he's going to be on desk duty because he shot a kid. Now, it may or may not have been Urkel. We'll just leave that alone. So, he's literally the only lifeline that McClane has, though, because McClane realizes that, you know, the odds are against him here. He's the only one who can fight back. But as I said, he's able to. And the FBI does get involved, and that actually leads to a bigger shootout and the iconic rooftop scene at the end where Hans Gruber falls to his death. And it's probably one of the most satisfying villain deaths in all of movie history.
Oh yeah, and fun fact, they actually dropped Hans Gruber I think they actually dropped him earlier than expected because they said they were going to count to 3, but they just counted to 1 and said bye.
Yeah.
And
So
he
the
dropped.
reactions were legit.
Yeah,
Where he's
that
like, "Ah!"
yeah that reaction that you see him where he's like. That's actually legit. Because they actually dropped him on 1 instead of 3 for his 70-foot drop.
So in case you guys didn't realize it by now, we really love Die Hard. I mean, how can you not?
Yeah, who doesn't love Die Hard,
And
honestly?
as we said, it made big bucks at the box office.
Yeah.
It established Bruce Willis as a named star. It holds an incredible, not that this matters because we had pointed this out before, but it holds an incredible 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Also, though, because many people actually criticized Bruce Willis at the time of the release, that it was kind of a mixed bag, but now it's been reevaluated and is considered one of the greatest action films. And also, for those who count it as such, I do.
There's two types
one
of
the
people.
best Christmas movies as well.
There's two types of people in this world. People who consider Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and people who consider Die Hard as not a Christmas movie. And by the way, there was an actual counter, and there are around 15 Christmas references in Die Hard, which is supposedly a non-Christmas movie.
Even though it did come out in July. But hey, that kind of ties into that whole Christmas in July thing. Get what I'm saying?
Ba-dum-ching.
Anyways, as we said, he's able to defeat the bad guys, and he manages to save his wife, and he reestablishes his relationship with his wife.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, they wound up getting a divorce in Die Hard 4.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten that far yet.
We haven't gotten that far
and
yet.
We don't even know if we're going to make it that far.
No, we're not, okay? We're going to focus on probably the first two since they're the most Christmas-related Die Hard movies.
Yeah, we might do Die Hard 2 next year. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that this time. I give this one, of course, a 5 out of 5. If you haven't seen it, check it out. What say you?
I give it 5 Hans Grubers out of 5.
And of course, if you think that Die Hard is the absolute worst movie that you could ever see in your life, and nobody should ever see it, well, that's your opinion. And of course, in this case, you might be wrong. But hey, if you are one of those people that think that, just remember, we're two idiots with a cell phone camera. Our opinions do not matter, except they actually do, because we have a YouTube show, except they actually don't. So, with that having been said and our ratings out of the way, we'll tell you guys that probably up next, we're going to finally, and I do mean finally, get through Friday Night Lights Season 3. And we'll
planned
get that
this.
one up for you guys.
Actually, no, we didn't.
We didn't really plan this.
We actually just kept putting Friday Night Lights Season 3 on standby for a really long while because we got busy with other things, and then some personal family problems came in and kind of swept in, and we're not going to talk about that too much.
So we're going to finally get that one out next to you guys, and then of course look forward to some Chuck Norris movies next month.
Yep.
Will they be good?
And
will they be bad? We don't know because we haven't really watched them, so we'll tell you guys.
And again,
they are.
I can't stress this enough. January 21st, live review of Walker. Come and watch it with us. It will be fun. It will be exciting. And me and Dad will be eating some popcorn during that time.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Probably will. So, again, we'll watch it on the CW because that's where it's going to be. So, if you want to watch it with us on the CW app, do so. We don't mind it because they need the support as well.
Yeah. We already looked at the trailer, and maybe we'll give you guys our first impressions of it next time. But having said all that...
Which will probably be in about a few minutes after I upload this video.
But having said all that, let's wrap this one up and tell you guys that, as always, Peace and love from Denny and Son. And if we don't see you guys before the new year, Happy New Year, Happy 2021, and let's
Hopefully
hope that it's a much better year.
Hopefully 2021 wasn't the HE double hockey stick of a year that was 2020.
So, as we said again, peace and love from Denny and Son, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.